Welcome to Right Decisions, a show designed to give you tools and strategies to be successful in life. I'm Tammy Moore Johnson, and it is indeed my pleasure to bring this show to you every week. Today we're discussing building a better you by eating healthy. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 7.6 million people die from cancer each year. More and more people are diabetic. Allergies seem to be on the increase. Many people think the root cause of the increase of illnesses is due to not having enough nutrients in the body. My guests today have made a commitment to change their eating preference. In fact, they both eat live nutrients or live food to have the healthiest mind, soul, and body. Please welcome Jimmy, the fat-burning Coach Leach, and Sharon Wright from the Good Life Cafe. So tell me, first of all, let's define what is eating clean.
Eating clean is eating natural food, nothing processed, nothing refined, just eating wholesome food.
Yeah, where things haven't been added.
Exactly.
Okay. Yes.
Hadn't been added, hadn't been processed, hadn't been taken out.
Chemicals,
Right.
additives.
Right. Okay, great. So tell me, what made you all decide to eat clean?
I had a grandfather that had cancer 22 years ago, and that's when I switched my diet. And then my father developed cancer, and then that's when I went into raw and living foods.
Have you seen a difference? Tell us about some of the differences in that.
Absolutely. When I switched from the standard American diet to macrobiotic, it was a total, I felt much better. I was sick all the time.
Now define
before.
macrobiotic, please.
Macrobiotic is a form of eating where it's balanced. You eat a lot of grains, you eat a lot of beans, and I did that for quite a while. And I felt incredible, but I just felt like there was still something missing because it is a lot of cooking your food. You're cooking everything, pressure cooking, steaming it. And when I started raw foods, it was incredible, the energy I felt. I lost 20 pounds in 1 month. I ran 2 marathons. I just couldn't believe the energy that I had.
The level of energy.
Exactly.
Wow.
And when you eat wholesome food, like green foods, you feel so good.
Wonderful. So what made you decide to start eating clean?
Well, I experienced the same thing. I lost a loved one also. However, but I started a little bit before that because mine was more getting into great shape, entering the competition. So mine was a little bit different. But as I, retired from bodybuilding, I just wanted to take it to another level and really begin to dig deep and find out what was best for my body. And so, and that's what made me do it. After seeing what the bodybuilding aspect of it did for me, I want to take a little further and see what real live food could do for me. And it's really changed.
Right. So how has it changed for you? Sharon said she's more energetic, she's running marathons and just feeling healthy overall. What about for you? What was the most noticeable change from the beginning?
The noticeable change for me is just lots of energy.
Okay, the energy piece.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm not tired. I'm ready to go. I will fuel my body with some healthy carbohydrates and some good quality protein. And I just felt great doing that. So, so let me keep doing this. And, from there I went, I kept going. So
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about processed foods. So let's say a typical morning. When you get up, what would you eat? And I'll start with Sharon, then I'll go to Jimmy.
In the past or now?
Now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I would do a juice. That's usually how I start my day. I'm really big into green juices, and we make a lot with kale, spinach, dandelion, and put a little bit of fruit in there. And that's usually how I start my day because I have the juice on an empty stomach, and then it's full of nutrients, so it just goes to repairing and healing the cells. Then later on, I'll do kale salad. I do a lot of greens throughout the days. I do some nuts and seeds, but I don't do as much because I try and get most of my diet from the greens.
Did you find that you were hungry in the beginning when you start just juicing?
No, when I first started raw foods, I wasn't real sure what to eat. So I'd drink a big smoothie in the morning, and then I'd eat salad. And then I did find I was a little hungry because I wasn't putting enough fat in my diet. Once I started adding the more avocados, the flax oil, a little bit of nuts, then I was completely satisfied.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Sharon, about adding more fats to your diet because for me, I always look for the combination of nutrients, meaning protein, carbs, and fats. Not eliminating one of them. I think what's important is make sure you get all your nutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, and put them together. And that's one of the things that stimulate metabolism. And I try to do those about every 2 to 3 hours, and that's going to keep the metabolism driven, keep your blood sugar stable, and give you that sustained energy throughout the day.
So one of the things that sustain metabolism is the balance of protein,
Carbohydrates and fats.
Okay, and fats. Okay, and
Yes.
it's balanced.
In that combination, that's right.
In that, okay.
And see, a lot of times people always say, well, let's eliminate carbs. Well, carbohydrates is a nutrient. Nutrient by definition means something that is essential to life. So if you took out
I like
carbohydrates,
that, essential to life.
if you, right. So if you took out carbohydrates, then the system is already flawed.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we include carbohydrates. It's very important. That's where your energy comes from. And you want to make sure you get good quality protein, because the protein is the building material. It builds your cell, repair your cells. The carbohydrates is just the energy to make it all happen.
You mentioned something there. You said good carbohydrates. I don't think that most people know, okay, what are the good carbohydrates and what are the bad? So would you all elaborate on that?
Here's the good carbohydrates. I'm going to give you 2 examples. A good carbohydrate would be maybe a sweet potato. Okay. Now, you may not think this, but a lot of people think that pasta would be a good carbohydrate. I say no. That's mine. And only because pasta is a processed food.
Exactly.
It was made in a factory. That's technology. We can add technology to feed biology. Our bodies are biology. So we want to make sure that we're getting foods that are made from the earth.
From the earth.
Not
That's
in a
what she
factory.
Exactly.
Right. That's why she does that raw, because you get it from the earth with the most nutrients.
Exactly.
And I love the way you define the essential to life.
That's right.
And if we were to look at a typical day of, let's just say, a child, this is right decision. We want people to start young, making good decisions. We want their family to make good decisions as well. But, cereal,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a big no-no.
Right, right,
That's a big
right.
no-no.
Let's just go through and then, go ahead,
Well,
Jimmy.
let me say this. I think a lot of times we are programmed, and usually we are programmed by what we see on TV.
Exactly.
For instance, if you watch a TV commercial that says, let's say Cheerios, for instance. Cheerios, nutrition, studies show that Cheerios great for heart disease, great for cholesterol. Well, let's say this. They're programming your mind to believe a certain thing. That way, when you go to the store, you're likely to buy their cereal. Your mind will become programmed.
Yeah, exactly.
And what they actually have done is taken it out from this, what will you say, the nutrients, the essential to life, the natural state,
Right.
and added something back in.
Let me elaborate on that.
Okay.
So here's what they're doing. They're taking food from the earth, changing it, and when they process it, it loses a lot of its vitamins and minerals, and then they go back and put it back in.
Then they chemically enhance
Chemically
it.
enhanced. It's not the real vitamins and minerals. It's synthetic vitamins and minerals. And let me say about vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals are like the nuts and bolts that hold everything together. For instance, if you had a house and we take the nuts and bolts and we replace them with synthetic nuts and bolts, that structure is not as strong as it was originally. So in processed food, when the synthetic or not real nuts and bolts are in there, when you eat it, because the nuts and bolts are not real, now when we eat it, it breaks down faster in our body because the real nuts and bolts are not there. And because it breaks down faster in the body, now it's going to raise your blood sugar. Okay?
Wow.
So our bodies have to go from breaking real food down, and especially carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are broken down. It starts as a polysaccharide. Your body has to break it down into a monosaccharide in order for it to enter your cells. And see, what happened in processed food, that process is already done for you.
So are we getting any, in your opinions, are we getting any nutrients from processed foods?
No.
Absolutely
Absolutely not.
So why are we serving this to Americans?
Convenience.
That's right, convenience.
It's convenient, and there are things that they add to cereal that they de-ice driveways with.
Oh, Lord.
It's really, if you go and read, 22 years ago, I started reading labels, and I made a rule. If I couldn't pronounce it, I wouldn't read it. I mean, I wouldn't eat it.
That's a good rule.
And there's so many things, like bread's a great one. How many ingredients should be in bread? At least 3 or 4 when you make bread.
Right.
There's like 20-something, and half of them you can't even pronounce. They're additives, they're artificial ingredients, so they don't need to go into your body.
Well, and here's how they get you also. And if you go up and down your food aisles, you'll see things like fortified, loaded with fiber, packed with vitamin C.
Enriched.
Enriched, that's right. So all those things are not real. They're synthetic things. But they put those things there just to draw you to them.
Exactly. So you think, oh God, this box of cereal is full of vitamins. It's great for my children.
Yes.
And it's really not.
It's really not.
And then, so let's talk about if our audience, our viewers, go to the grocery store. Really, what aisles should they avoid? Because it's not just cereal.
Every
it's
aisle.
like, well,
Except
there's
fruits
some
and
produce,
vegetables.
some produce in there.
The produce, and that's another thing, is that they're starting to put so many things on the
That's true.
produce. When you go and look to buy produce, they put shellac on it. They put varnish. Those are two ingredients that are used heavily to make vegetables and fruits shine. And then they're now genetically modifying foods. So you do have to be aware. And one of the best places to get produce is your local growers.
That's right.
Okay, local growers.
Yeah,
Okay.
because a lot of them don't spray. They can't afford to. They're not certified organic, so they can't make that claim. But their vegetables are close to you, and they're much better than something that's housed in from Mexico or Guatemala or California.
So if you see a vegetable stand beside the road, drop in.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
right. Well, that's good advice. I appreciate you
Absolutely.
sharing that.
Yes.
So, but if it's labeled organic at the grocery store, then it should be
Organic
okay.
is really not organic. They can use those claims.
Natural,
No, those are just
No.
You really have to just read the label and make sure that you know, like, that it's whole oats. That's important. That you don't see fillers in there like artificial. They put MSG. They can put that under natural flavoring. Well, most consumers would think of natural flavoring as being something natural, not something that's naturally chemically made.
Right.
So you really
Wow.
have to be
We're
careful.
fooled by
And
that.
we do offer classes where we show and teach people free of charge how to read labels and ingredients and go to the grocery stores with them. So that people can educate themselves, because 22 years ago when I started, the information wasn't really available out there. I just had to learn it all.
Research it.
Exactly.
So you offer classes at the Good Life Cafe.
We do. We teach people how to prepare food. And then we usually on Monday nights will have an educational class where we'll have someone come in, or we'll demonstrate, unhealthy ingredients and what to replace them with that are available in stores. That you wouldn't have to.
Do you have a website where people? Of course you do, but can you share your website where
It's-
they can go and find that out?
Sure, it's goodlifecafe.net.
Right. Okay.
And we
good.
have a Facebook too. Our Facebook is really updated. We're still trying to put some things on the website.
And I like that, a good life.
Good life.
Yeah, it
I
is the
know,
good
you know,
life.
yeah.
Yes. And you have the new body, and then
I
she
like
has
that.
the good life.
A
Yeah,
good
there you go.
life.
And we're going to all be wholesome
Yeah.
together. So let's go into the benefits of juicing. Tell me, you have some juices
I
here.
do. Do you want me to?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
let me pass them to you. So
Okay.
tell me what's in this
Okay,
one.
this is a green smoothie that Good Life makes, and what this is it's a meal replacement. We have a hemp protein, we have bananas, we have almond milk that we make ourselves that's raw, we have raw honey, and we have maca powder, and we have spirulina. And all of those are proteins that help build your body and very satisfying.
See, that's good to hear. So you can get protein, Jimmy, in a cup.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then you have, this is the
That's a juice, and juice and smoothies are different. Juice, what you do is you extract the pulp from there, the fiber. There's some fiber in there, and you do need fiber for your body, but the purpose of juicing is to have all those nutrients go to repair your cells and heal your body. And the red hot juice is delicious. It's got some ginger, which is really good for circulation. It's got beets, which are very good for cleansing your blood. It's got pineapple, which has got bromelain in it, which is good for your digestion. And it's got grapefruit, which is an antiviral.
Okay, great. And then I'm going to
The
go.
green.
Oh, you want to go to the green lemon?
Oh, the green is fabulous. Your green that's the key to health. It's got chlorophyll, calcium, and iron in there, and that is just power-packed with nutrients and energy. Then we put some apples in there, and then we
Sounds
put a
good.
little bit of cucumber and ginger and lemon, and that's probably our best seller.
Let me see. You have one more thing over here. Let me see what this is. What is this?
This is a dessert. All of our desserts and all of our food is gluten-free. We don't use any animal products. We don't use any sugar. And those are chocolate balls that we make out of raw chocolate, coconut, and we put a little bit of maple syrup in there to sweeten it.
And so I'm going to try this real quick, and hopefully, and then just to see if it is sweet.
It is
since
sweet.
It's healthy. Try one.
Let's try one.
This is very good.
Aren't they delicious? And they take, if 5 minutes, they don't even take 5 minutes to make. Put it in the food processor, roll them into balls, stick them in the freezer. And you could add, like for more protein, you could add some nut butter. We use raw almond butter. You could put some of that in there and just make it, or some hemp protein or hemp seeds, and it'd be a little power pack snack.
And this would be a good replacement for that Snicker bar, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Very good. Okay. And then you have, I'm going to see, you have a couple more items, and then I'm going to go back to processed food.
Okay, you want me to pull them up?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is what we serve at, some of the things we serve at the cafe, and this is a jerk burger. We use a lot of Caribbean spices, and we use walnuts. This is a pimentaless cheese wrap. Our wrap is made out of flaxseed, and then our pimentaless cheese is made out of nuts. And then we've got our taco. Tacos are our #1 seller. Very delicious.
Do you think that you missed anything when you switched to start eating healthy, eating clean?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I've gained more. I mean, I've gained so
More
much
knowledge.
more nutrients.
Nutrients.
You know, because before, even though I was eating a macrobiotic diet, it's all cooked. You know, they very seldom do you eat salad. And when you eat, that's what really changed me after my father died. I went one day to a natural restaurant, and I went to their cooked bar, and everything, it was just like no nutrients. When I went over to the salad bar, everything was screaming with life, like nutrients.
Yes.
This is fresh. This is what my body needed. So that was a switch for me.
For our viewers, so they can understand, when you cook food, you're taking a lot of, when you get a certain temperature, nutrients out.
You destroy.
Exactly.
Right.
You
And
destroy
so
them.
that's you destroy them. So that's why we want people to start eating more live food raw, because you
Exactly.
get more nutrients
right.
into your body, because we're live beings.
Exactly.
That's
And we have to be fed. And when you eat living foods like sprouted are considered living foods, that is the highest that you can go, full of nutrients for your body. You know, there is no higher nutrient level than a sprout. Yeah.
You have to understand that our organs function off the nutrients from the foods that we eat. So if a person not getting in the proper nutrients or the right amount of nutrients, those organs begin to starve.
Yep.
And over time, they begin to go bad. And I think a lot of time, let's say if a person went to the doctor and they have some situation going on, and the doctor may say, well, you know, it's hereditary. Now, I don't think it's always hereditary. You know, I think it's a pattern. You're doing the same thing your parents did.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Same
so-
eating habits.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So, you know, we got to begin to break that and make some change.
Right. And we're trying to educate today. So how to eat clean.
Exactly.
To eat healthy, because we are live beings. We need live food.
We do.
Yes.
And it's scary when you see what people eat during the day. I mean, it's cooked.
Yeah.
and not just like you said, not just getting vegetables, but getting vegetables that you can get most of the nutrients from, like this
Exactly.
beautiful set you have there.
Exactly.
One of the things that I want to speak on is a lot of time when people have these cravings, most of the time their bodies are not craving sweets. It's craving nutrients.
Exactly.
Now, we misinterpret it for sweets.
Exactly.
So that's why when you eat sweets, you didn't satisfy that craving. You didn't give it the nutrients that it needed. So you crave again. And you go, it's a continuous cycle. You just keep eating the sweets over and over. That's because you never did eat the nutrients to satisfy that craving.
Is there
Your body
any
was asking for
particular nutrients that your body would be craving when you craving sugar, sweets? I mean, can you pinpoint it, or are you just saying in general it's depleted of nutrients?
Basically, what's happening when you get a blood sugar drop, that's when you're going to get all those cravings. That's why we need to eat foods that's going to give you a constant stabilization in blood sugar. When you get that
Okay.
drop, that's when you're going to get those cravings.
So it's not any one particular nutrient you can identify. It's just being balanced with your
Right.
carbohydrates, with your
Absolutely,
protein,
absolutely.
and with your fats.
Right.
Okay.
So what happens is as you begin to drop, that blood sugar begin to drop because it's not stabilized. You're eating foods that's making it go up and down. Because it's not stabilized, once it begin to drop very quickly, that's when the cravings come on, the hunger comes on. Because low blood sugar is what make you hungry. High blood sugar make hunger feeling goes away.
And a lot of times the sugar will deplete your body of minerals, so your body is
That's a
wanting
good
minerals.
point.
And you had an excellent point. You know, when we wake up, we should be feeling energetic, fantastic, lots of energy, not like, oh gosh, you know, I'm exhausted and, you know, reach for 10 bottles of medication. That's not how our
That's
bodies
scary.
are designed to. We need to jump out of bed and hit the day running. We really do. That's how our bodies are designed.
Absolutely.
A question, white potato. That's a vegetable. So tell me how you all see that.
I think they're okay. That's a lot of
Yeah.
times people say, don't eat the white potato.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
let me tell you this. It came from the earth.
Right,
You know,
okay.
and then, you know, some people say, there's this superfood. Well, if it comes from the earth, they're all super.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
And if it's a white potato, you know, when they fry it and process it and mix it with cottonseed oil, and then take it or mix it with 50 other things to be a French fry, you know, that is not good for you.
Then your body doesn't recognize it.
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
It's
And a
foreign
lot-
to the body. It's like a foreign
I
invader.
was hoping you said French fries were okay. I'm just kidding.
fresh French fries
Fresh, yeah.
with a good oil or fine, like olive oil. You know, that's a good fat. But when you cook it with soybean oil or vegetable oil or canola oil, you know, that's not good.
I'm glad you just mentioned oils, Sharon, because you have to make sure that when you're cooking with the oils, you got to make sure your oils have all oils have a heat temp where after a certain temperature, you destroy the healthy benefits you get from them.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you get the oils, they get a high heat temp on them, meaning, you know, say something like macadamia nut oil. It has a heat temp of about 415 degrees, so you can get it up to about, you know, just under 415 degrees. It's still good for you.
Okay.
Well, olive oil only have a heat temp or heat point of about 215 degrees. So anything over 215 degrees,
You're destroying
you're destroying the healthy benefits you get from it.
You change it once you heat it.
Absolutely.
You change that cellular structure.
That's right.
So that's why it's good to put the olive oil on your salads,
Absolutely.
like, so you
That's
can
right.
get that,
That's right.
that in. Yeah.
And stir fries are good with olive oil because you're not heating them. You know,
For
you
that
can
long.
do it real fast and then take it down.
And let's not get the olive oils that's already made in the store. The things that's, you know, the olive oil and vinegar dressing you buy at the store.
Oh, you're talking about the dressing. I thought
Yeah,
you meant, so you
you
can
mean
still
the
buy the olive
dressings
oil
that-
in the store.
Right.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
like the dressings, like
Yeah.
The
the
pre-made
Kraft
dressing.
and
Gotcha,
things like
gotcha.
that. Yeah, the pre-made.
Because they put other stuff in
They
there. It
Absolutely,
goes back to the
absolutely.
ingredients that you were talking about
Exactly.
earlier.
just
yeah.
so you buy them.
And when you buy olive oil, you want to make sure that it's cold pressed.
That's right.
And that it's extra virgin, because if it's not cold pressed, that means that they've heated it, and then it changes those nutrients. And when when you're eating them, it doesn't recognize those nutrients.
That's right.
So always make sure it's cold
It's
pressed
cold
and
pressed.
extra
Extra
virgin.
virgin. And that's
Extra.
and extra virgin, if people don't understand.
Yeah.
That's been when they press the olives the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. And always turn your oil over and read the ingredients, because they're now cutting oils with filler oils that, you know, your body doesn't recognize. So make sure
Wow.
it's 100%.
Okay, so extra virgin oil or just what did you say?
Extra virgin.
Extra virgin oil and cold
pressed.
pressed.
Cold pressed,
So that's the type of olive oils that we should be buying, and we
Exactly.
need to make sure that it's not at a certain temperature, so it won't lose its nutrients.
Yeah.
It won't be
You
destroyed.
want
That's
the
Very
higher
good.
grade of oils that you buy, like he was talking about the macadamia and the coconut oil. You know, those are much better oils than Crisco or vegetable
Absolutely.
oil.
Absolutely.
Very
Yeah.
good, very good. Now, this is something I really want us to hit hard: sugar.
Oh, that's a good
It seems
one.
to be in everything, and in
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah.
I think it's just a drug. Okay.
Right.
It is.
Right. Well, and it's also hidden in a lot of things. I had a client of
Mm-hmm.
mine's bring in this energy supplement that said, give you lots of energy. Well, and it says sugar-free.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they made the claim because it was sugar-free. It just so happened they replaced it with maltodextrin,
Oh, yeah.
and that's how they get you. They was telling the truth, but deceiving you at the same time.
Yeah.
So they took out the sugar and put in maltodextrin, which is
Well, yeah, share what that is.
maltodextrin. It's made from corn. It's genetically modified, basically what it is, and it's very bad for your body. So
Engineered.
engineer, absolutely, absolutely. And so we want to make sure, you know, if something says sugar-free, still turn around and look at the label.
So that's why she was saying read
Well,
those
you-
ingredients
Yeah,
and
you
be
don't
as
really
natural.
want. A lot of sugar-free is made with artificial stuff like saccharin or Splenda and stuff that your body doesn't need. You know, you don't need the sugar. And the white sugar it takes your blood sugar, it takes it up, and then it just drops it way down.
Right.
And, you know, safer ones, safer sweeteners are your brown rice syrup, your maple syrup. You know, there's some hype on the agave, raw, the honey. Those are safer, even though those still metabolize into a sugar, it's slower.
Right.
It does.
And another one I have to point out is xylitol.
Yeah.
I think that's what, because xylitol is actually already made by our bodies.
Yeah.
So when we have xylitol as a sweetener, it's not foreign.
That's relatively a new one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
All right, so let's sum it up for our viewers. Okay, basically we're telling them that they need to eat as much as possible live food.
Correct.
They should stay away from sugar, stay away from long ingredients on foods or material boxes, things like that. So any final comments in about 30 seconds?
I think, you know, the more raw people can go, the more fresh fruits and vegetables, the better they'll feel. Fruits and vegetables are huge for preventing a lot of the changes that women have hormonally. That's something we haven't, you know, discussed, but it can definitely prevent a lot of those different symptoms that women go through.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both for joining me today, and I want to leave the audience with this final perspective. It is the Lord's desire for you to prosper in every area of your life: health, finances, and career, etc. One area that we are limiting our prosperity in is having the healthiest body. Just as what has been explained today, our bodies need to have the live food in order to get the maximum potential. Same goes for our souls. We need to get back to the source of life, our Creator, to have the maximum and the most fulfilled life. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. True life begins with Jesus Christ, and He is coming back. Will you know Him when He returns? If you do not know Him as your Lord and personal Savior, I encourage you to do so, for He is coming back. Thank you for tuning in to Right Decision, a show with a positive message. If you would like to contact me, email me at choose-to-make-the-right-decision@gmail.com. We will see you next week. Goodbye for now.